Yeah, I have that in my laptop, Prabhu. No, no
Okay.
worries.
Okay.
Yeah.
I will just share for the benefit of everyone, maybe, Naratu,
Okay, sure.
just in case if other devotees would want to just see as well. 1 minute, let me just close up this. Mm, yeah, can everybody see this? 1 minute.
Yes, Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhuji. I think the Word
Yes.
document maybe Mangalacharan prayers.
Yeah. Yeah. It should be fine, right?
It contains long prayers, Prabhuji.
Okay. Shall we take this one? Does that should be fine?
I think I sent some document.
Yeah. You sent one, Prabhuji.
Yeah.
Let me bring that. Um, I think you sent me one. Yeah. Yeah, I can. Yeah, I'm bringing this up, Prabhuji. 1 minute. I'm just going to bring this up. Yeah, just for the benefit of everyone, so they can get used to this as well. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, go ahead. No, that's okay.
Sure, Prabhu. वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरु श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं सागराजतं सह गणरघुनान्वितं
Hare
तं
Krishna, Prabhuji.
सजीवम्.
It's Om Ajnanatimirandasya.
Oh, sorry. Sorry. I just. ॐ अज्ञानं तिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्ट स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वया रूपकदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदाङ्कितं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरु श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं सागराजतं सह गणरघुनाथं वितां त्वां सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सह गणललित श्रीविका विशाखान्वितांश्च नमो ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वते देवी गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चातार्यतारिणे वंशकल्पतरुभ्यश्च च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधो दीनबंधो जगत्पते गोपीशा गोपिका कांता राधा कांता नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधा वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभो नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधरा श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे।
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji. Wonderful. We started off with the Mangalacharan. Can't be anything more auspicious than that. So a very quick one, a small Kirtan for Krishna, and then we will dive into the book. Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girvaradari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girvaradari Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Vihari Jaya Madhava Jaya Kunja Vihari. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
Very beautiful, Prabhuji.
Very divine.
Hare Krishna. This is another tune which we recently picked up from our Guruji, Prem Sankit from the temple. So yeah, latest one. We just keep adding tunes, and the beauty about Hare Krishna tune is that no matter how many different type of melodies are there, you can still keep singing them for hours and hours together, even with a single melody. And yesterday I was there in the Soho temple, and we were doing like for 2 hours continuously. The kirtan was going on from 7:30 to 9:30, and it was still so joyful that everybody were participating, and it takes you to a totally spiritual realm. Just and especially the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. And we have so many people giving testimony for that. In fact, George Harrison from the Beatles, he said that during his experience of traveling to Europe, for 3 days, he was continuously chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra. And he himself gave his experiences saying that in spite of chanting continuously for 3 days while traveling all over Europe, he was saying, I was still not tired of it. I still wanted to go more and more. So these are beautiful realizations, and these are coming from the most popular and famous Beatles who are so known for their band of music, and such kind of a devotees giving us their experiences that in spite of all this music in the material world, that they found happiness in the spiritual potency of the holy name of Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So we should take inspiration from our devotees and relish this Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Ashwin Prabhu, Ajay Prabhu, Hare Krishna, thank you for joining us.
Hare Krishna, Sam Prabhuji.
I guess with your permission, I'm going to just go into the Krishna Katha. So this is going to be one Krishna Katha we'll be doing before. I was just reflecting back. We come a long way. We started with the advent of Lord Krishna and prayers by the demigods, the birth of Lord Krishna. And I think this is a good time actually for us to just reflect back on this chapter number 3, the birth of Lord Krishna and how comes begins his persecution. All these are beautiful chapters which actually talk about the appearance of Bhagavan Sri Krishna. And yeah, we're so fortunate. We covered so many beautiful chapters. And right now we are in this chapter of 51, the deliverance of Muchukunda. Another beautiful chapter, and every chapter is a nectar coming from about the divine leelas of Krishna. How can we develop love for Krishna? By listening to Krishna Katha, by listening to the beautiful events that have happened during the time when Krishna was there, we can start developing the love for Krishna. Because so far in this material world, we've been having only mental speculation. We keep hearing about Krishna from third party. We keep listening from the grandparents and things like that. So we have different things which we have heard from different people. But here we are talking directly from Bhagavatam. This Krishna book is directly from Bhagavatam. There can't be anything more auspicious than that, where we are getting the actual nectar which is coming from the scriptures. There can't be anything more divine than that. And we covered in this chapter where how Krishna was actually transferred the people of Dwaraka. He created a city called Dwaraka just for the people of Mathura, and he transferred all of them to Dwaraka. We covered that in this chapter, and we've seen also that how Kalayavana was one of the person who has joined hands with Jarasandha and came to attack the city of Mathura, and how Krishna, without even a chariot, without any being armed, he just goes, he leaves Mathura and he goes directly into this army of Kalayavana, and he starts while he keeps going, Kalayavana is chasing him, and we've seen how Krishna leads him into the cave. And once he enters into the cave, we've seen how Kalayavana goes and kicks a person who's actually sleeping. And this person who's sleeping is called as Muchukunda, who was a great devotee actually. And this man has been given a benediction that he can burn to ashes anybody who has disturbed him in his sleep. So Muchukunda was actually sleeping over there. And this Kalayavana, this demoniac king, he went and kicks him thinking it's Krishna. And then he gets burnt into ashes. Kalayavana gets burnt into ashes. That's when we can see Muchukunda sees this beautiful form of Krishna, and he's inquiring, like, who are you? What's your parentage? Krishna, because Krishna was appearing in front of him in his four-armed form. And it is so beautiful, the story, to see how Krishna could give this benediction of appearing in a four-armed Narayana form in front of Muchukunda. What did Muchukunda do that could attract that Krishna's mercy, Krishna's grace, that Krishna would appear in a four-armed Narayana form? Because we can do our sadhana, we can do our dharma, but we can't order God to appear in the form of Narayana. We can't order Krishna to come and appear before us. That is Krishna's mercy. That is Krishna's grace. And that grace, we had to wait for that grace. We had to wait for that mercy where we are doing our sadhana. Just like when you go to an airport, you can't expect the flight to come whenever you reach the airport. You have to go to the airport and you have to wait over there, and the flight will come at a time when it's meant to come. Similarly, God's grace comes at the time when God thinks that is the time to show his grace. But till the time, we have to be patient and with humility, with humbleness, and keep doing whatever part. And here we find that Muchukunda was so enormous, seeing the beautiful form of Narayana form, and he's asking all the questions, who are you? And then he understood that it is the Vedic culture that actually you have to first introduce yourself, who are you, kind of thing. So here, Muchukunda, the person who was actually sleeping in the cave, who burnt Kalayavana to ashes, now he's kind of like explaining that he's actually belongs to Ikwaku dynasty, which is the Raghurama dynasty, was his great-grandfather's and things. And now, having said that, then he's asking Krishna, my dear king, it is practically, and so he's asking Krishna, can you please now tell me what is it that, because Krishna's effulgence was so much that he was not able to even see with his eyes. That was the beauty of Krishna's beauty. Because when we say Krishna, we say Bhagavan. Bhagavan means unlimited beauty. unlimited knowledge, unlimited strength, everything in unlimited portion. So here we can see that even the beauty, the body effulgence was so much that it was unbearable for Muchukonda to see him. And so Krishna is saying, like, we covered this, like where Krishna is talking about his identity. Finally, Krishna tells Muchukonda, my dear Krishna, my dear king, it's practically impossible to talk about his birth and appearance and disappearance in him, because Krishna is unlimited. His forms are unlimited. The planetary expansions are unlimited. We had Balaram Jayanti just happening this week, and Balaram is an expansion of Krishna, right? Krishna expands himself. It is mentioned that on the left-hand side, Krishna expands as Radharani, and on the right side, Krishna expands as Balaram, and from Balaram, Sankarshan, and from there, Mahavishnu. Like that, Krishna expands himself in many different ways. And we all know about the story that when Krishna had 16,000 queens, and he created 16,000 palaces for each of the queen. And when Narada goes to visit Krishna, he was just amazed to see that there was a Krishna in each and every palace doing different things. So Krishna himself was like having multiple, expanding himself into 16,000 Krishnas. And whenever he went to a palace, he was seeing Krishna doing something else. In one palace, Krishna was doing meditation. In another palace, with other, he was spending time talking to the queen. In another palace, he was at the same. So Krishna was doing so many things in 16,000 places. How is it possible? So that is Krishna's expansion. Krishna can expand in many ways. So here he is telling Muchukonda that it's impossible to tell about births, appearance, and disappearance and activities. And that reminds me, I had to just forgotten about my prayer for Krishna before we do the Krishna Katha. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopisha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostude Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Haripriya. We pray to Radharani, we pray to Krishna, just the very Hare Krishna Maha Mantra itself. Hare refers to Radharani. Radharani is another name for Radharani is Hara. And then we refer in the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra as Hare. So we are saying, dear Radharani, dear Krishna, please kindly engage me in your divine service. And as we are going to witness this beautiful celebration of Krishna Janmashtami on Sunday and on Monday, we remember the beautiful sloka from Bhagavad Gita. Janma karma cha me divyam evam yo veti tatpataha chakradeham punarjanma naiti mameti sorjana. Where Bhagavan Sri Krishna is saying that one who knows Krishna's appearance, Krishna's leelas, Krishna's beautiful divine pastimes, even if one understands this and he knows these divine pastimes, and those devotees who know this, once they leave this material world, will directly go to Krishna Loka and not come back into this material world. So anything that to do with Krishna is absolute. Whether we were listening to the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, we were listening to Krishna Katha, whether we having the deity, darshan, everything is on the same spiritual platform. So with that, we see that Krishna is kind of mentioning to Muchukonda that it is impossible to explain in a simple way what is birth. And it's impossible just like a material scientist, how it's impossible for him to estimate the number of atomic particles. So Krishna, we can see that Krishna is always reciprocating. And here, when Kamsa Krishna tells in Bhagavad Gita, Paritranaya sadhuna vinasaya duskritam dharma samsthapanardaya sambhavami. Why did Krishna kill Kamsa? Because he wanted to protect the people of Mathura, because he wanted to protect the people of Mathura, the people of Vrindavan from this evil demonic Kamsa who imprisoned his own father. So Krishna is always coming to the protection of people who are sadhus, who are devotees. And we can see that he's killed so many people like Pralambasura and many of them. But we have to understand that everybody who has died in the front of Krishna was liberated as well. So that is Krishna's causeless mercy as well. He's always affectionate towards his devotee. And this is the reason why we call Krishna as Bhakta Vatsala. Bhakta Vatsala is someone who's always very dear and always caring for the welfare of his devotees. So here he's saying why Krishna is giving this darshan to this particular, my dear king, now you may ask for me any benediction. So Krishna was actually a devotee. Muchukunda was a devotee of Krishna, and in his previous life, Krishna was reciprocating in this life, giving him a personally done darshan. And the the biggest thing, one thing that Krishna can give, which other demigods or the devatas or upadevatas, anybody can't give, which Krishna can give, is that Krishna can grant liberation. Okay? Krishna can grant mukti. And that's the reason why Krishna is asking, you can ask any benediction for me. I'm ready to fulfill my desires. It is my eternal principle that anybody who comes to the shelter of Krishna, his desires will be fulfilled. So this is when Muchukunda was already been informed about this, about from Garg Muni, about Krishna, that he would appear in the 28th millennium of Lord Krishna would appear on this planet. So he was just remembering the prediction of Garg Muni, because we have to understand these saints are highly spiritual. They can see the future. They can just mention it, because Garg Muni was a family priest. And if you remember some time back, we covered the chapter where Garg Muni, tells Nanda Maharaj the future of Krishna, that he's like the Supreme Lord and how he's going to be. So he understood that the Supreme Person Narayana was present before him. And also, as we were covering so many chapters, we know that in those days, 5,000 years back, people were so spiritually intelligent. They were so spiritually, their IQ level was different. If you take Vasudeva, if you take Uddhava, if you take Akrura, all of them, they had so much of knowledge spiritually. And here you can see that even Muchukunda is saying the same thing. He's saying, Bhagavan Sri Krishna, I can understand all the living entities are illusioned by your external energy. Right? The yoga maya that's covered and enamored with the illusionist satisfaction of sense gratification, being fully engaged in illusion activity, reluctant to worship your lotus feet. And this is the case, isn't it? We see in today's material world, if you ask people to come for a party, they will come for a party. If you ask them to come for a movie, they will come for a movie. But if you ask them to come to the temple, they will put you all kind of conditions. Okay, I'm going to come, but you're going to only spend half an hour. We are only going to spend 5 minutes for the prasadam, and then after that we are going to come. We are not going to spend even 1 minute more than that. So they put all kind of conditions when you come, because people in this material world, they're covered by this yoga maya, this maya that's there, that's in this mahamaya, that's engulfed this whole. So everybody in this material world is covered by these three gunas. Right? Bhagavan Sri Krishna tells in Bhagavad Gita, Bhogaishwarya prasaktanam taya pahrata chetasa vyavasayatmika buddhi samavdana vidiyate. Krishna is telling the reason why we are not getting Krishna Bhakti, why we are not interested in Krishna Bhakti, is because our consciousness, our material consciousness, our mind, our heart, we have filled it up completely with all material sense enjoyment. I want to enjoy this. I want to enjoy that. I want to go there. I want to do this. We have filled our mind. There's no space for God. And we have completely put our mind completely, our plans, our ambitions are all towards materialistic things, material opulences. Okay, I'm going to do this project, I'll save money and I'm going to build this building. Material opulences. I'm going to do this and I'm going to buy a car. So everything, we have filled our consciousness for material things. And that's the reason why, because this is Maya, where it makes you think that if you get this, I'm going to be super happy. And then once you get that, then again, another comes up saying that if I get that, I'll be super happy. So like this Maya that is engulfing this whole world is constantly keeping us in this illusion, that making us believe that if I have this material position, then I'm going to be happy. And we all seen that from this material life, that from time and again, no matter how much we have in our life, still it is never sufficient, because we are searching for happiness in the wrong place. And Krishna also says, Visaya vinivartante niraharasya dehinaha rasavajyam rasopasya param drisva nivartate. When you get a taste for Krishna Bhakti, when you associate with the devotees, when you're getting the taste for Krishna Adam, that is when you will be able to relish the Krishna Bhakti. Otherwise, till then, you will always be like a swamp, you will be in this material world. And they are so Muchukunda here is saying they are so foolishly attached to society, friendship and love, and all kind of miseries and illusion by the material energy. Everybody is attached to this material and all are engaged in cheating one another. And that's what is happening, isn't it? In Kali Yuga, all the friendships, everything is becoming so diluted, isn't it? Generation after generation, we are seeing how much bad it's turning out. When we hear from our grandparents, they were like, at least some have some better values. But again, when it comes to our generation, it's becoming so materialistic. Even a friendship also is becoming a very need-based friendship like that. So, and in an example is given like a dark well, right? When you, sometimes the animals fall into the dark well, with not knowing that actually this is a well covered by all these creepers and everything. So here he's Muchukunda is saying, I'm not an exception to the universal law. I'm also a foolish person who has wasted all his time for nothing. So Muchukunda actually spent all his time. Actually, he was actually a very divine person in a way that he was trying to help protect the demigods from the demoniac people, and he spent years and years fighting for them. And in return, Kartikeya, the chief of all the demigods, gave this benediction that yeah, you can go and sleep for however long you want to. So, but I think again, on one side, I feel like this is the thing, isn't it? When you have done so much of good deeds, when one fine day a demigod comes and appears and say, "What do you want?" And this man was just requesting, saying that I'm so tired, I want to go and sleep. So sometimes we do not know what to even wish from the God, right? We do not know what is the right thing to wish from God when Krishna is appearing in front of the, and this is the reason why Krishna Katha is so important, because when we see the prayers of Dhruva Maharaj, then we get to know Dhruva Maharaj, after praying completely with so much of serious sadhana, when Lord Krishna, Narayana appeared in front of him, he said, oh my God, all this time I have been doing all this sadhana just for the damn kingdom. When a Narayana is standing in front of me, what am I doing? Wishing for all these material things. It is like wishing for some broken glass pieces when a diamond is standing in front of me. So once we get the taste of Krishna Bhakti, that's what our feeling is. Then all these material things will fade away. There'll be these material things that we're wishing for will become like just like those broken glass pieces that Guru Maharaj is talking about, that we will have a higher relish because we are enjoying Krishna Bhakti, because we are enjoying this divine, the kirtans and this love of Krishna. You can see yesterday I was sitting in the kirtan in the evening and I was seeing like everybody is like the mood of devotion that everybody were there in Soho temple. It was almost like everybody is just transported into a spiritual platform from a material platform. It's like upgrading yourself to a higher level of consciousness. Everybody was so engrossed in the kirtan and they were so peaceful and so joyful. We may become very rich, we may become very powerful, but having peace of mind, that is something which very, very that happens with the grace of God. Because many people, just for that peace of mind, they get intoxicated, they do all kind of things because they don't know how to get peace of mind, just for that happiness. So here Muchukonda is talking about that he is also engulfed in this material world, that his attachment for home, wife, and money and supremacy over the world, they were more accurate kind of thing. So he's saying, like, my dear Lord, I have wasted so much of my valuable time without any benefit. So he's realizing that in this material world, no matter how many kingdoms you have conquered, how many money you must have earned, if you're not able to have that peace of mind, if you're not able to, get the Krishna Bhakti and the peace of mind and the joy of Krishna Bhakti, then the life is wasted. So Krishna tells in Bhagavad Gita, just by renouncing, you will not be happy. But just by renouncing that, you will not be happy. But instead of renouncing everything, if you are engaging everything in the mood of devotion, surrendering everything to Bhagavan Sri Krishna, Krishna says that much better than just renouncing life. Because some people, they say, I'm renouncing life, and they'll go into a forest and they just, Krishna says more than that, it's better that you live in this material world, but do everything as an offering to me. Yat karosi, yat asnasi, yat juhosi, dadasi, yat tapasyasi, kaunteya, tat kuru samadarpanam. Whatever you do, whatever you eat, whatever you offer, whatever you give away, whatever charity do everything as an offering for me. Om Krishna Arpanam. So early in the morning, no matter what we are doing the whole day, the first thing we do is Om Krishna Arpanam. Krishna, whatever I'm doing, just let it be as an offering to you. Let me, the fruits I'm offering as an offering to you. That today, the work that I'm doing as an offering to you. Everything I'm doing as an offering to you. Because Krishna says the best way that you will not be impacted by the karmic reaction in this material world is when you do everything as an offering to me. Krishna says that. Shubha Shubha Palarevam Moksisi Karma Bandhana Sannyasa Yoga Yukta Atma Vimuktamam Aparisasi. In this way, you'll be freed by doing it as an offering for Krishna. If you do everything, if you change your mindset in such a way that I'm doing everything as an offering for Krishna, that will save us from all kind of karmic reactions. And Krishna says, by in this way, you'll be freed from all the sinful, all the reactions to all the activities, karma that you do, and you will be liberated and you will come to me as well. So we have to take this knowledge from Krishna. So here Muchukonda is kind of like saying, like, how much he has wasted his life and all this in the material pursuits of things that I want to have supremacy over the world and things like that. And he's realizing that to think of this material body, which is a bag of flesh and bones. There was some calculation that has happened, isn't it? If you cover everything, all the chemicals in the body, how many dollars it comes up to? It was amazing to see like what was the calculation that has happened. That is hardly so. The body, in terms of chemicals or anything, it's just nothing. This is temporary. But what is priceless is the Atma, which is within the body. So in this misconception, I traveled all over the world accompanied by military strength. So Muchukonda, because this is what we are getting from Krishna Katha. We're getting from Krishna Katha realizations of the different characters. This character of Muchukonda is giving us his realization that he traveled all over the world accompanied by military strength, soldiers and charioteers, elephant, assisted by many commanders and puffed by power. I could not trace your all, Lordship, who was sitting within my heart as the most intimate friend. Sarvasya chaham hridi sannivisto matasmitir jnanamopoham. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, I am the one sitting in your heart, and from me comes remembrance, knowledge, and forgetfulness. By all the Vedas, I am to be known. So here, Muchikonda is realizing that I have been going over there, traveling all over the world with all this military strength, and now not realizing that actually you are sitting in my heart as the most intimate friend. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, right, Suhridam Sarva Bhutana. Suhridam Sarva Bhutana means I am your best well-wisher and your best friend, Krishna is saying. But it's only that we have to turn our minds towards Krishna instead of turning our mind towards this material world. I did not care for you, and this was the fault of my so-called exalted material condition. This is what happens, isn't it? When we have so much of Bhoga, Aishwarya, and everything, we don't want to think about God, isn't it? But if any problem comes and suddenly my business starts sinking, then we start thinking about God. Then we'll start going and we'll do all kind of tapas and we'll do all kind of things. And we'll call a pujari and we'll give him lots of money and say, do whatever puja that it takes, but just get me out of this mess because there's something wrong. So Krishna understands that, right? He says there are 4 kinds of people who come to Krishna. One person who's in anxiety, full of anxiety, and who's having problems. One person who's desiring for a lot of wealth, a lot of Lakshmi. Third person is someone who's very curious, he just wants to know more about this thing. And the fourth person who's actually coming for the love of Krishna. Just for the love of Krishna, because I'm just going to the temple, I'm going to Manna because I just want to have Radha Gokulanda's darshan. I want to just enjoy the Krishna Prasad. I want to go there and serve Krishna. I just don't want anything else. I just want to go there only to serve. Tesham satata yuktanam bhajate priti purvakam dadami buddhi yogam tam. See, Krishna Bhagavan is always reciprocating. And Tesham jnani nitya yukta yeka bhaktir vishishyate priyo hi jnanino chartam aham sa cha mama priya. Krishna says, out of these 4 people who come to me, the one who's coming to me out of love for me, only out of pure love for me, Krishna says, I consider him to be the best. For he is very dear to me and I am very dear to him. So Krishna, you see that how to become dear to Krishna? When we go out of pure love for Krishna. So somebody may say, but you know what? We have problems in our life. But if I don't tell, and is it wrong to go and ask for material desires? And is it wrong to go and ask Krishna for when we have problems? It is not wrong to ask Krishna for help when we are in problems and all that. But the point is, when we going out of pure love for Krishna, Krishna knows he's sitting in your heart anyway. Why do you think he doesn't understand your problems? Why do you think he doesn't know? In fact, he knows everything. Why you're suffering also, Krishna knows. What you must have done in your previous life, why you are suffering in this life, that also Krishna knows. You don't need to tell Krishna anything at all. Vedaham samatitani vartamanani Arjuna bhavishyani cha bhutani mam tu vedana kaschana. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita. Arjuna, I know everything happening in each and every one of your life. What you have done in your previous life, and millions of your previous life, I know. What you're doing right now, I know. What's going to happen in future also, I know. But me, nobody knows. So like that, Krishna knows about all these things. And he knows about, so when you're doing out of love, pure love for Krishna, Krishna will be even more obliged to go in. Just like he was telling the gopis did not want anything. They just wanted Krishna prema. But in return, what did Krishna tell gopis? What is the letter that he sent with Uddhava? The letter Uddhava read out to the gopis. He said, Krishna told in that letter, I don't know how to repay the love that you're showing for me. I don't know what else can I do to repay the love that you're showing for me. Because he could understand this is pure love that the gopis had for Krishna. Nothing else. They just had pure. They just wanted to see Krishna happy. So when we show that kind of when we elevate ourselves to that kind of a love, Krishna says, I don't know how to repay it, because he gets so obliged that he wants to do. And that's the reason why Prabhupada says a pure devotee can control Krishna. Krishna is within the control of such a devotee, because that devotee doesn't want anything else but except Krishna Prema. So I just want to be just one of our devotees to just read out from here. We'll just make it more interactive. Anyone would like to read from here? Hare Krishna, anyone would like to read this?
Prabhuji, can I read it? This is Jagan.
Yes, Prabhuji, please go ahead.
So is it from the passage that you have highlighted in the screen?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Okay. I have it open in my screen also, so I'll read it. Hare Krishna. Yet, in spite of her being so absorbed in material thought, inevitable time, which is only a form of yourself, is always careful about its duty, and as soon as the allotted time is over, your lordship immediately ends all the activities of our material dreams. As the time factor, you end all our activities as a hungry black snake swiftly swallows up a small rat without leniency. Due to the action of cruel time, the royal body, which was always decorated with golden ornaments during life, and which moved on a chariot drawn by beautiful horses on the back of an elephant nicely decorated with golden ornaments, and which was advertised as the king of human society, that same royal body decomposes under the influence of inevitable time and becomes fit for being eaten by worms and insects, or being turned into ashes or the stool of an animal. The beautiful body may be recognized as a royal body while in the living condition, but after death, the body of even a king is eaten by an animal and therefore turned into stool, or cremated in the crematorium and turned into ashes, or is put into an earthly grave where different kinds of worms and insects are produced of it.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji. I mean, such a deep one, isn't it? This particular paragraph is just showing that Krishna, because it explains about 5 different topics, the main topics in Bhagavad Gita. And one of the topic is Atma, Paramatma, Prakriti, Kala. Kala is the time in karma. That time, with time, everything gets vanquished. And we've seen that in Bhagavad Gita, where Krishna shows his universal form, the Vishwarupam, where Arjuna could see even the future of what's going to happen to the people out there on the battlefield, right? They were just rushing into the mouth of Krishna, and they were ending to. So this is the thing. Finally, no matter how much of pride that we may have, how much of arrogance that we may have, one day everything is going to come to an end. And Krishna and Prabhupada gives these beautiful analogies, like a hungry black snake swiftly swallows up a small rat. And this is the thing, isn't it? No matter how powerful you are, that how much whether you're a Richard Branson or Branson's grandson, one day the curtains will be closed and you have to go back and you will be topsoil. So this is, but because they do not have the spiritual knowledge, people unfortunately get so overwhelmed by these material desires that they're ready to. And this is the thing, right? What we all know about karma, because we get so attracted by this maya, this kind of life in this material world, that we keep constantly acquiring things, thinking that okay, I'm going to live forever, but they forget that life is so short, that everything is going to come to an end, but the soul is eternal. The most important thing is the soul, but people forget the soul and or atma, and then they run behind all the remaining things. Indriyani paranyahuru indriyebhya paramana manasastu para buddhi yo buddhe paratustu saha. Krishna says that the 5 senses are superior to the dull matter. This body without the soul is dull matter. So Krishna says your 5 senses, your senses are above this material body, and above the senses you have the mind. Above the mind you have the intellect, and above the intellect you have the Atma. So Atma is at the top, but unfortunately we are catering to the senses and forgetting about the Atma. And what does the Atma want? The Atma always wants to serve the Paramatma. And this is the reason why Prabhupada mentions not as bhakti, he always says devotion, not devotion, but devotional service. That only when we're serving Krishna, then we can we can attract the love of Krishna. Then that is the way in which we can expand Krishna, experience Krishna Prema, not by just doing it as a ritual, but doing it as a spiritual. When you're doing it as a ritual, you may offer an orange to Krishna, but if you're doing it with a lot of devotion and love, you will peel that orange and offer it to Krishna, because you know Krishna is going to eat that orange. So that's the difference between being just ritualistic and being spiritual and devotional. So here, Muchukonda is so spiritually knowledgeable that he knows about it. And this is the beauty about those days, right? Even though the kings were there, they were not just only interested in material opulences, but they also had the spiritual knowledge that at one time they would leave the kingdoms and go into the forest as the last part of their life to meditate on the Supreme Bhagavan Sri Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji. That was a wonderful one. And it's mentioned like how even a king, this is what we have seen, isn't it? Even a royal person, one day, this is what is going to happen. He's going to be eaten. He'll be, after in the body of a king, he'll be eaten by his animals. So this is the situation in this material world, that everything, this body is temporary and only the soul is permanent. Just one more. Anyone would like to? Ashwin Prabhu, anyone else like to?
Shall I go?
Yeah, Nagaraj Prabhu, yes, please go ahead.
My dear Lord, we come under the full control of this inevitable time, not only after this death, but also in a different way while living. For example, I may be the powerful king, and yet when I come home after conquering the world, I become subjected to the many material conditions. When I come back victorious, all the subordinate kings may come and offer their respects, but as soon as I enter the inner section of my palace, I myself become an instrument in the hands of the queen, and for sense gratification had to fall down at the feet of women. The material way of life is so complicated that before taking the enjoyment of material life, one has to work so hard that there is scarcely an opportunity for peacefully enjoying. And to attain all material facilities, one has to undergo severe austerities and penances and be elevated to the heavenly planets. If one gets an opportunity to take the birth in a very rich or royal family, even then he is always anxious to maintain the status quo and prepare for the next life by performing various sacrifices and distributing charity. Even in royal life, one is full of anxieties, not only because of political administration, but also in regard to being elevated to the heavenly planets.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji. I mean, it's such a wonderful realization, isn't it? Just imagine the realization of Muchikonda. Just he's speaking in front of Krishna Bhagavan and about like how this kala, this time is inevitable, that no matter how rich a king could be, we heard about, Alexander the Great in those days also, like, finally his realization. I just heard faintly the story that he asked his people to just keep a hand out when he was being buried, just to give the message that at the end, no matter how powerful an emperor you are, you take nothing with you. And we've seen also, like in the ancient time, people would just have those pyramids, keeping the bodies inside, thinking that maybe they would, and cover them with so much of gold and everything, maybe thinking that they would be needing it. But we all belong to Sanatan Dharma, where we have the most eternal knowledge of Sanatan Dharma, where we know that the soul is eternal. And it is quite a thing that, how we are under the influence of time, how we are under the influence. And here Muchukonda is giving it a realization that even a powerful king who could be most respected, but in those days, you would have a king who would go and conquer all the other kingdoms, who would annex the other kingdoms as well. So all of them look up to this particular king, and he would be managing all these different kingdoms. So he could be so powerful, but when he comes to the palace, he's fallen at the feet of the woman. And we have so many stories like that, isn't it? And this material life is so complicated. We struggle to just to come to a big position, and finally we know that everything is going to come to an end. The difference between material life is that no matter how much we accumulated, at the end of life, it becomes a zero and we go back. And again, you start with another life, again from the scratch. But the beautiful thing about spiritual life is that whatever sadhana that we do towards the end of our life, Krishna says that in the next life, your sadhana will start from the point where you left off. And that's the reason why you find like some people, like some devotees at the age of 5 years also, they're reciting Bhagavad Gita. You find some small young kids playing mridanga, doing different kirtans and all that. It's amazing to see how come these people at such a young age have become so knowledgeable in scriptures and so many things, because everything is coming from the previous life. Wherever they have left off from the previous life, they're picking it up from there. And Krishna says, you will be born in a family, a righteous family, where you will be able to practice the spiritual life. So this is the knowledge. And so Muchikonda is giving this knowledge, that giving his experiences and his realization that how complicated this material life is. And sometimes we go to the extent, because we are so fascinated and so attracted with the wealth and opulence, that we are ready to read the scripture. We are ready to, a lot of people, yogis, they do tapas and all this to elevate themselves to the higher planets, because it is mentioned in Karma Kanda section, different sections of the Vedas, what are the different austerities you can do to elevate yourself to the heavenly planets. But we have to understand that even if we go to the highest planet of Brahmaloka, again we land up, after you enjoying in that heavenly planets, you have to again come back once all your karma, all your merits are, is done with. And Krishna mentions that up to the level of Brahmaloka, there are still places of misery where like life and death keeps happening. And again, you have to come back. Only if you go to Krishna Loka, there's no question of coming back. So here, Machukanda is giving his knowledge that even if one gets an opportunity to take birth in a rich family, even then he's anxious. That's true, isn't it? If somebody is also rich, also there's so much of anxiety, how to keep his wealth, how to make sure that doesn't get. We heard about the story. I think everybody must be following about the incident that has happened in Italy, right? The yacht which got sunk, and one of the very rich person from UK also he's died. And imagine, like, he was actually worth some millions of pounds. Actually, he was a very rich person, and he won a big court case and things like that. He was supposed to be very rich, but that's such a cruel way the life has to end it. It's very sad actually, because even his daughter died and he died. So all this struggle for all your life for this material success and material wealth, one fine day everything comes to a zero. So through the Krishna Katha, we had to bring these realizations to our mind, that rather than focusing on trying to be big in our material life, our focus should be in having a balanced life, that while we are living in this material world, accept whatever that's coming to you and do to the best of your ability to keep yourself comfortable, your family and everything going on. And that should happen, because there are two types of dharmas, Swadharma and Sanatan Dharma. Your Swadharma, you should never forget your duties towards your family, your duties towards your friends, your job, all these Swadharma you have to do. At the same time, along with that, you have Sanatan Dharma, which is that you are an eternal, you are an Atma, and your duty is to serve the Paramatma. So both of these things should go hand in hand. So it's all about balancing our lives to see, like, while we are living in this material world for our bread and butter, for whatever, for our survival, which we all need to do, but at the same time, not to give over importance to that, but accept whatever job, whatever position you get it, but spend more time spiritually. So that, because that is where real peace of mind is. That is where the actual, you have your Lakshmi Narayan account. That's the account where you're depositing all your spiritual progress that's going, your kirtans that you're doing, your chanting that you're doing, everything goes into the Lakshmi Narayan account, and which never gets vanquished. In fact, every small thing that you do, you can see, this is the best example, right? Muchukonda was a devotee of Krishna in his previous life, and in this life, Krishna comes and gives him his darshan of his forearm Narayana form. So that is the beauty of Krishna Bhakti, that Krishna never forgets, no matter even if you do anything so small as well. So here Muchikanda is saying, if one gets an opportunity to take birth in a very rich or royal family, even then he is very anxious to maintain and prepare for the next life by doing various sacrifices and distributing charity. And even in the royal life, it is full of anxiety, not only because of in regard to the heavenly, elevated to the heavenly plans. Yeah. So that's the thing, right? Why we need to understand Bhagavad Gita is, we need to understand Bhagavad Gita to understand the actual essence of life, trying to get this knowledge directly from the Supreme Lord, that don't keep hankering, doing all these things for the sadhanas, or reading the scriptures for the purpose of being elevated to the higher planet. Because Krishna is promising even more higher than the higher heavenly planet. He's saying directly come to my supreme planet, Krishna Loka. So Krishna is promising even more than what you can imagine. He's promising the Krishna Loka itself, the supreme, the most topmost supreme planet of Bhagavan Sri Krishna, rather than even thinking about going to the heavenly planets. Krishna says, but even then, being elevated to the heavenly planets is good compared to this material world, because this material world in Kali Yuga is full of anxiety and full of problems, isn't it? In fact, Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna, Hato va prapsasi swargam jitva va boksasi mahim tasmad uttistaya kaunteya yuddhaya kritanischaya. Arjuna, either you will be killed on this battlefield and go to the heavenly planets, or you will win this kingdom, win this war, and you will enjoy an earthly kingdom. So get up with determination and fight, Arjuna. Either way, you are in benefit. Either you will go to the heavenly planets, or you will win this war and you will enjoy a kingdom. So just get up and fight. So Krishna is saying, in whatever position that you are in, do your dharma. Just do your dharma, whatever position you are. And that's what's Krishna's message. And that's what Arjuna listened to Krishna and did that. He went and fought the war. He said, Krishna, I'll do this for you. So I want to stop over here in the interest of time, because it's just past 9 o'clock, and I want to get any of your realizations or anything that you would like to share. Hare Krishna.
Prabhu, I'll take a minute on the statements what you gave on Alexander, right? I'll just read out very beautiful statements he told before he died to his royal servant.
Sure.
So first thing he said is, I want my physicians to carry my body alone, because I want people to know that no doctor can cure people illness, especially when they face death. No physician or doctor is as powerful to save people from the clutch of death. So do not let people take life for granted. And second one he was telling about, I want the path leading to my grave to be strewn with gold and silver and precious stones while my body is being carried to the buried, because I want people to know that even a fraction of gold will not come with me.
Absolutely.
And I spent whole life chasing power and wealth. Whatever I earned in the earth remains here. I want people to realize that complete waste of your life and time to run after wealth and power. And third thing is, I want to keep both of my hands to keep dangling out of my coffin, because I want people to know that we came empty-handed in this world and we go empty-handed.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Nagaraj Prabhu. That's really nice, giving an essence of everything. And this is what Muchikunda's this thing, isn't it? Realization. The interesting thing is, when we are having material opulences, this philosophy doesn't come. The philosophy comes only when we are in a very, very bad shape. That's when all the philosophy keeps coming out, kicking out, and that's when the spiritual. That's why sometimes I feel like, when I've seen people having some really deep problems, and they come to Krishna, and sometimes they share with us, Prabhu, this has happened, and really, I'm in a really bad shape. And now I said, when you are having such deep problems, you could have gone to the pub and just intoxicated yourself. You could have taken some drugs. You could have done so many things, but you have come to the Krishna Mandir, and you're serving here, So there is no better place for you to have this right realization, because many people, they commit suicide, they get into depression and all this, because they don't have answers for the problems that they're facing. They're having so many deep problems, but they don't know why am I suffering like this? Why am I going through all these things? But when you come to a Krishna Mandir, when you are associating with the devotees, when you read the Bhagavad Gita, when you read the scriptures, they'll have the answers that this is all could be happening because of the karma that has happened. And in this life, if you can lead a life of prayashit, trying to do something to kind of thing, and that will kind of, and because Krishna says, right, Sarva Dharman Parityajya Mam Ekam Saranam Braja Aham Tvam Sarva Papebhyo Mokshisyami Ma Suchaha. What is Krishna guaranteeing? He's saying, whatever you've done, irrespective of whatever papa that you have done from so many lifetimes, I can cancel all of them. But only thing is, I just want you to just surrender unto me, and I will protect you from all sinful reaction. Do not fear. So this life should be a life of realization. So even if we have problems, if it is taking us to the lotus feet of Krishna and giving us this realization, because how else we will understand, right? Only when we are in problems, you start digging into find answers. So only when you're in problems, you start seriously reading scripture, seriously associating, having some serious questions. Till then, otherwise, we will not be serious about spiritual life. So sometimes even the problems in the life, we can take it as an opportunity to serve Krishna and associate and go deep into finding answers. And that's the reason why you see people who are having problems, they really come up with some solid questions, right? Why am I suffering? Why is this happening? Why this thing? But that can be used as an opportunity for you to dig more, and also an opportunity for you to take to this lotus feet of Krishna. Krishna's, whatever I have done in my previous life, now I'm suffering in this life. But I don't want to wish for anything else, but I want to take your feet and I want to do every sadhana. It's not that Krishna's devotees don't have problems, but it's just that when you're engaging yourself in bhakti life, Krishna gives you the strength to face all your problems. In fact, our prayer to Krishna is also to, not that Krishna erase all my problems, that Krishna can do anytime, anyways, but Krishna, no matter irrespective of whatever problems are there, I just want to stick onto your lotus feet. I just give me a chance to always keep serving you. That should be a prayer. Give me the strength, the spiritual strength, just and guidance, just like the way you guided Arjuna on the battlefield of Kuruksheta. Please guide me and give me the spiritual strength to face all my problems. And that is when, because we don't have the spiritual knowledge, because we do not have our devotional life, so we don't know where else to go. But if we are engaged in devotional life, those problems will still be there. But the problems which have become like looking like big monsters, now they start, reducing the grip on us, because we have someone like Bhagavan Sri Krishna who's going to take care of us. Because you're not giving so much of importance to your problems, you're giving more importance to your bhakti life. So the same problem which was like eating your life, eating away your mind and your heart, now becomes very, very trivial because your focus is completely changed towards bhakti life. So on that note, I just wanted to just share. Vrindavan Prabhu, Hare Krishna. Thank you for joining us, giving us a session. Hare Krishna.
Dandavad Pranam, Prabhu, Dandavad Pranam. I listening.
We are missing your kirtan. You used to sing different bhajans. Next week.
The next week, definitely next week. This week, something happened, and I'm coming late today.
Yeah, no.
And thank you, Prabhu. Nice Krishna Katha. It was very wonderful. I am very happy to hear Krishna Katha.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We need blessings from you, our devotees to be kept half a century. We had 51 chapters so far. So I'm sure with Krishna's grace, with all the association of devotees, we can hit a century, 100. I mean, that's not there, I think, but still we can repeat. Amaga Prabhu, anything would you like to add? Anything to the nectar to our
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. So you have been adding all the nectar, Prabhuji, so very beautifully. I'm enjoying this session, hearing all this Katha, Krishna Katha. Very nice, Prabhuji.
Okay. Thank you, Prabhuji, for having your association. I feel so happy that I have all your association, and Ashwin Prabhu, Ajay Prabhu. I really appreciate Anil Prabhu in Abu Dhabi, and
thank you, Sam Prabhu.
Yeah, thank you, Ajay Prabhu. And Anil Prabhu is amazing at this time, when it is maybe it was at 11 o'clock when we started. It could be close 12 o'clock, I think, now. And Anil Prabhu is still there with us. He's joined us from Abu Dhabi. And this is what really inspires me, motivates me, that when you have such loving devotees who are having the commitment to come and join us like this, it inspires us even more to share and with all of us. So we have Krishna Janmashtami coming up in a few days. So all glories to all your wonderful service and your association, and let's pray that Bhagavan Sri Krishna guides us on this battlefield that we are in, this material world, for all of us, and stands with us and guides just like the way he guided Arjuna for each one of us, and shower us with a lot of blessings and gives us the strength to fight our battles. Hare Krishna, everyone. Is it okay to do the Narasimha prayer, Amaga Prabhu?
Maybe we could request Vrindavan Das Prabhuji.
Yes, definitely. Vrindavan Prabhuji, would you like to do?
Prabhuji, my landlord here. I'm not shouting and talking.
Okay. No problem, Prabhu. Yeah, understand. Yeah, no problem at all. Yeah.
Ashwin Prabhuji or Jagan Prabhuji?
Yeah, Ashwin Prabhu, would you be able to? I don't know your situation.
I'm not singing. I made a complete mess last time.
Oh, no problem, Prabhu. Prabhu, the endeavor that's what we are happy about, thank you for that. Yeah, whoever wants to, otherwise you prompt me to do. Narad Prabhu, do you want to do?
Yeah, I'll do that.
Go ahead, Prabhu. Yeah, go.
I'm happy to sing behind the closed mic.
I think like the mood is important. Yeah, no problem. Sure, Prabhu. You can do it with the mic also. Narad Prabhu, let's get started.
Yeah,
And
sure.
just once is enough. Yeah, no problem.
Yeah.
Because the rest of you.
Namaste Narasimhaya Praladadayine Hiranyakashiporvakshaha Shilatankanakalaye Ito Narsimho Parato Narsimho Yato yato yami tato narsimho Bahe narsimho hridaye narsimho Narasimhamadim sharanam prapade Tava kara kamalavare vinakam Adbhuta shringam Dalita Hiranyakashipu Tanubringa Keshavadharta Narahari Rupa Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare Jaya Narsimhadev, Jaya Narsimhadev, Narsimhadev, Jaya Narsimhadev, Jaya Prahlad Maharaj, Jaya Prahlad Maharaj, Prahlad Maharaj, Jaya Prahlad Maharaj, Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, Nitai Gaura Hari Bom. Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol.
Haribo. Thank you, Prabhuji. Very, very nice.
Yeah,
That's wonderful. Yeah,
Very
it's
beautiful.
nice when everyone is taking part. And yeah, definitely. I should do it next time. Or maybe any one of us. It's nice to just all take
Yeah,
part.
this was beautifully sung. I
Yeah,
agree.
sure, Prabhu. And I
Prabhuji,
want to just...
you could allocate the Mangalachan prayers and Narasimha prayers to different devotees now, so they will prepare for next session.
Yeah, yeah. I'm not sure if you're aware of that, a Mangalachan prayer as well. If you know, we can go through that and we can post it on the channel also.
Yeah,
On
I said, I know some of them, but not all of them, and I definitely cannot say it as clearly as
okay.
yourself. So
Yeah, fine, Prabhu. I mean, whenever you're comfortable, yeah.
yeah,
you know,
yeah,
I just we are all a spiritual Krishna family, so all of us we can just support each other and just be when you take part, you feel more inclusive, isn't it? So yeah, anything is absolutely every small contribution from each other
yes.
be wonderful. Yeah, so Haribols to everyone, and yeah, look forward to maybe seeing if anyone is coming to Vrinda to the Janmashtami festival. Myself and Noida probably will be at the entrance, so you can't miss us in the Goshala. So yeah, let's pray to Krishna to give us an opportunity to serve and keep us all together like this, and come together on Thursdays and engage in a Krishna Bhakti as well. Thank you very much. Hare
Hey,
Krishna.
can we all unmute and do loud Hari Bol to Shyam Prabhuji 3 times?
Hari
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 Bol,
bol,
Hari Bol,
bol,
Hari
Hari
Bol.
bol.
Hare
Thank you,
Nitai
Shyam Prabhu.
Thank you so
Gauramanande.
much, Prabhuji.
Nitai
Thank you so much,
Gauramanande.
Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hari
Hare
Hari
Krishna.
Bol.
Have a blissful Krishna conscious evening. Hare Krishna.
Krishna.